Hi, welcome back to the farm. My name's Roz, also known as Passion Flower, and you'll find me here each week talking about my farming and creative life. Well, if you can't tell, it's a little humid today. My hair is all a bit bleh. um, yeah, it has been really warm and stormy and lots of really, really heavy rain. But I'll get to that in a minute. First, welcome to 2024. I hope you had a fabulous Christmas and a happy and safe New Year's celebration, and welcome back. I took a fair chunk of a break over the Christmas New Year's period. In fact, I even went on a holiday with my family away, so turned everything off, basically no social media, no emails, closed the shop, 100% full on holiday, which I haven't done in a really, really long time. We went on a Christmas cruise with P&O Australia, and it was fabulous. We had such a great time. It was just so much fun. It was a 7-day cruise. It was to Kangaroo Island, Hobart, and Port Arthur, and a couple of sea days either side. So Christmas and Boxing Day were sea days. There were so many activities and Christmas festivities and decorations and everything on the ship. And we celebrated Christmas in a really fun and great way. Lots of getting involved in activities on the ship, like quizzes and going to shows, as well as just sitting around and relaxing, reading a book, doing some knitting, people watching, drinking mocktails, eating ice cream, and just having a really lovely time, as well as then enjoying the ports and exploring a little bit there as well. I'm not going to go into a huge amount here of detail because that may not be what you're here for. But also, I thought I might do a separate episode which just focuses on the P&O Christmas cruise and explains a little bit about the differences with it and what we experienced and some extra photos and things like that. So rather than do a whole thing just here and not be able to catch you up on everything else with the farm and take this into a super long episode. So stay tuned for that one coming up in the next week or so. So while we were away, we had friends here looking after the farm. The hay was cut just before we left, and it was baled in the few days after we had gone away. We were very concerned about the rain. We'd seen the forecast. Luckily, our holiday was not affected by the rain at all. The weather down near Hobart was beautiful and not warm, but sunny and fairly calm. And so we didn't have any rainy days while we were away, but we knew that we were getting a lot of rain here at home. So we were very happy to get the hay bale before that happened. We ended up with 170 bales, which is a lot, more than what we thought we would get. So we're super pleased with that. And they're the big round bales. So we did the 3 paddocks and we got the most out of the One Tree Hill paddock, which was really great for us because we'd spent a lot of time clearing the blackberries out of there to make that grass good enough to be able to cut for hay. So we're going to keep a small amount of the bales for ourselves to be able to feed the sheep for myself and feed the cows and use for the chickens and all of that kind of thing. So just a little bit for here around the farm, and the rest we are going to sell. So I've got a little haystack just out here by the shed. We've got another haystack up near the stockyards. Moving into using those round bales for the sheep, I'm now investigating a hay ring feeder, which is what you put the big round bales into so that it is a slower feed for the sheep and so that they don't fall apart, and so you get the most out of each of those. So I will be investing in one of those very soon, although they do have a lot of grass to eat right now. So the grass in their paddock out here has flourished while we've been away. It is now super, super long. So after we got home, we had to do a little bit of work in that paddock. We created new tree guards for those 5 trees that are still surviving in there. After we had done the ones in the chook yard, we had figured out that that was going to be the best way to protect them. So we've got boards around at different heights so they can eat underneath a little bit. and sort of stick their heads through, but not enough that they're going to be able to get in and eat the trees, hopefully, and they won't break the boards trying to get in either. So we constructed our new tree guards, and we were then able to bring the sheep back over here. And they've been here for a few days now, and they are content as anything with fresh green grass to eat. They are hardly even making a noise when I come over. They don't even care. They are so stuffed full of fresh grass because they've definitely eaten everything down from the other area around near the clothesline and near the chooks. So it was time to bring them back. And I'm still saving the little bit here by the shed, the little extra bit that I've created. They haven't gone in there yet. Once I've eaten down a little bit in their main paddock, then I'll open that up for them and they will sort of have both, and we'll try and conserve the green grass as much as we can for as long as we can, because it's still going to be a hot, dry summer, even though we've had tons of rain. So we need to make sure that we've got feed going. I will have the hay bales, but also I want to make sure that they do have some grass as well and that we don't end up completely destroying it. So when we mulched the new trees, we also put the remainder of one of the hay bales into their little shed area there. So they've got hay and grass at the moment, and they seem extremely happy with that. So as I said, since we've been back, it has been super hot, but then we've had big storms and heavy downpours of rain. And yeah, we had flash flooding the other day. There was hail. We had probably, we don't even know how many mil of rain. It was probably over 90, but the rain gauge stopped working because the rain was coming so hard and so heavy that it just couldn't register how much we were getting. So it's been quite an odd summer so far, and everything is still really green. But as I said, we're sort of preparing for what may be coming in the months ahead, and having the hay bales ready to go and having rested the sheep area here. Hopefully we're in a good position moving forward. So I'm just getting back into the swing of things now, work-wise as well, getting caught up on emails, starting to write a list of my dye schedule and looking at trying to really pre-plan for the year and get as much dyed up and ready to go as I can while we have water, while things that can dry quickly. That's sort of a whole balance of all that kind of thing. I do need to do a really big tidy up here in the shed. After market season last year, I kind of got a little bit slack. Things are a little bit untidy. The floor needs to be vacuumed. I need to get rid of cobwebs. I want to do a bit of a rejig of where things are and how things are laid out. I've sort of lived with the space and how things are for a while now, and I'm starting to get used to what I like and what I don't like and where things need to go, and perhaps other storage options that I need to look into. So I need to do some work in here in the next few weeks to really get that done, get myself organized. And once I have done that, and I've been saying this for a while, and I was going to last year do a tour and show you around, but I ended up getting busy and I didn't end up doing enough tidying that I was going to be happy to show you. So once I've done this batch of tidying up, I will do a workshop tour. And of course, I'll be starting to do dyeing again. And I'll probably be soaking some yarn this afternoon and get going on my schedule of dyeing, because I have already done my list of the colorways that I need to get re-dyed up, as well as thinking about some new ones that I am going to get going on as well. I'm also thinking about switching up my recording cycle a little bit, which probably won't affect you. Videos will still come out on Sunday mornings, but I'm thinking that I will change the day of the week that I do the recording to give myself a little bit more time, but also to make sure that when I am doing markets and events and things like that, I'm recording the recap or the follow-up from those earlier in the week, so that it's fresher in my mind and I can properly retell some stories and not just say, oh, it was good, when I record it later in the week. So I'm thinking that I'll probably start recording on a Monday or a Tuesday, and then the video will still come out on the Sunday, which probably won't really affect the content all that much. I am also thinking about adding in maybe once a month a bit of a different formatted video, something a little bit more in depth, maybe a tutorial or a dye day, or some knitting inspiration, just sort of focus on maybe seasonal patterns or what to do with mini skeins, or again, I think I'll do my holiday as a separate video to sort of focus more just on that rather than everything else. So if there's anything particularly that you'd like me to spend a little bit more time on or focus on, put that in the comments below or shoot me a message on Instagram, and I can add that to the list of things that I've been thinking about that I might like to spend a little bit more time talking about. I also sometimes find that in terms of things around the farm, it ends up kind of being a little bit the same, which I love and I talk about. And some weeks there aren't all that many things that go on, especially if the weather is really hot or really wet. Um, so I can kind of gather a few of those things up to talk about in other weeks, and then have those sort of special video weeks that can sit in between to provide a little bit more interest and hopefully develop this channel a little bit. So that's what I'm thinking about doing, just to make things a little bit different in 2024. While I was on my holiday, I chose to take 2 projects away with me. I know, extremely restrained, but I wanted a couple of really simple things, and I knew that I really wasn't going to work on much else. So I thought I would take 2 fairly basic projects, but things that I knew that I was going to enjoy to work on. So of course I took socks. I chose to take with me some self-striping yarn by Half Baked Hand Dyed, and this is actually in the Unwind exclusive cruising colorway that I got at the start of the year. So I was on a cruise knitting with my cruising colorway, and I finished the first one, and I did contrasting dark toes, heels, and a tiny little cuff, and I've made them quite short. I felt for summer I needed a couple of really shorty pairs of socks, and I am almost up to the heel on the second one. So they were just nice to have with me as I walked around the ship and just work on a little bit. The other project that I worked on was the Big Blue by Meg Gadsby that I talked about before I went away. So I cast it on before I left, and I worked on it quite a bit while I was on the ship, and I finished it last night, which I'm a bit excited about. So it is out of the Fiore DK gradient. It is a 100% Australian extra fine merino. It was 430 meters, and it was in the color Purple Rain. And here is the shawl. So I think mine's more like the big purple rather than the big blue. Can see the edges here. Look, and I've even woven in the ends. And there it is there. It's a beautiful shape. I think it's going to sit really nicely. I do like this shape of shawl. Started with a garter tab cast on, and then there was some increases and just some plain garter at the top, and then a section here that was slightly textured. I did add a few extra repeats of the pattern at the end here. Oh, I've got it back to front that way. I did add a few extra repeats of the pattern at the end here just to use every little bit of yarn. I did do one row and then start the bind off, and then realized that I was definitely not going to have enough for the bind off. So I ripped back a whole row. And in the end, this is what I had left after I finished doing the bind off. So I definitely made the most of every little scrap of this yarn, and I think that it's really effective in the gradient in this shawl, and I'm looking forward to wearing it. I think it's so pretty. Well, that's it for another week. Thanks for spending some time with me. If you're enjoying these videos, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I look forward to seeing you next week on the farm. Bye.